Wet your hands with water. Apply soap, rub your hands palm to palm and wash the backs of both hands and in between your fingers. Then palm to palm with fingers interlocked. Clasp your hands together and rub. And then clean around the thumbs too. Rub your fingertips in the palms of your hands and finish off with the wrists. Rinse your hands really well with water and dry them thoroughly with a paper towel. Use the towel to turn off the tap. Your hands are now clean.
Students, this will raise Azizi. Today we are going to start new chapter number 4, in the kingdom of fools. That's from your English book, Moments. And this is basically a folk tale from a book, Folk Tales from India. What is folk tale? The folk tale is a story passed from one generation to another generation. And this is Kannada folk tale. It's a language you must have heard. I think Kannada is spoken in Andhra Pradesh. So this folk tale is about a kingdom where the especially king and his ministers were fool, idiots. And well, it's better to read through the paragraphs because it's just a story, and you will laugh if you imagine that how they behaved. And so I'll just start reading first. It's quite simple and easy to understand, but don't forget to make your notes of difficult words. I'll be telling you meanings of difficult words also, but still you got to make notes just in case if you want to clarify anything in our online meeting today. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. They did not want to run things like other kings, so they decided to change night into day and day into night. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night till their fields and run their businesses only after dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. So here it goes. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. So like I said to you, the king of that kingdom and his minister were fools, were idiots. And I'm sure you know this, what idiot means. Basically, people, a person who don't use their brains and they behave differently. They didn't want to run things like other kings, so they decided to change night into day and day into night. So what they decided that, okay, we don't want to follow those kings, like the other kings in other kingdoms. So what they did, they wanted to change all the businesses and activities which are done in daytime. So they wanted to do that in night, and all those things which were done in night time, they wanted to do in the daytime. Obviously they could not change the sunshine. They could only change the activities. So this is what they decided. It obviously is quite funny, If you imagine that like in daytime, usually what we do, we wake up and do our breakfast and go, either we go to work or you go to schools. Yeah. So imagine if you had to sleep all day and in the night you have to go to your school. So this is what exactly they wanted to do. And they even ordered. So they ordered that everyone should be awake at night. So nobody should sleep in the night. They have to awake. Till their fields. Here this word T-I-L-L is different meaning. Remember this. So this word till means here cultivating the fields to get ready for farming. Cultivating, like whenever you belong to agriculture area, so you know well that before seeding, before planting, what a farmer does, he cultivates the field. So either they do it by that tractor. In old times it used to be done by bulls, like with carriage or some wooden instruments. So that's what means here, cultivating field to get ready for farming. So what they ordered, that everyone should be awake at night till their fields, means cultivate their fields and run their businesses only after dark. So whatever the businesses they had to do, like opening shop or doing any other work, they had to do it in the night time when it becomes dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. So early morning, before the dawn, they have to go to sleep. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. And this was the penalty. If you don't obey the instruction, then you will be punished. And that was capital punishment. You will be given death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. So things were implemented as they ordered, and the king and the minister were delighted, were very happy to see that their project was success. One day a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. Everyone was asleep, not a mouse stirring. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly businesses. So this was going on as per the order, as per the king order. So people had started following the instructions. So they were sleeping during the day and they were working during the night. One day a saint, guru, like religious saint, you must have seen sadhu, which is called sadhu, and his disciple in it's like a personal follower, if I would say in English, but in Hindi it's called like shishya. Okay, they arrived in the city. The city was very beautiful, and it was uh, broad daylight, means obviously sun was shining, and it looked quite beautiful that time, but they couldn't see anyone. They could not see any single person there. Everyone was sleeping. Not even a mouse. Staring means active. So this guru and his disciple, when they arrived, obviously they arrived in the daytime. So everyone was sleeping at that time and they couldn't see anyone. Even they couldn't see a single mouse active that time. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered around town till evening. Even the cattle is like group, it could be cow, buffalo, sheep. So even they were taught to sleep by daytime. So now these two strangers, guru and disciple, were shocked and surprised to see that what was happening. So they wondered. Wondered means going here and there, walking aimlessly, without any aim. They were going here and there because they didn't know what to do, because they couldn't see anyone there. So they wandered around town till evening, and what they saw suddenly, the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. So when it became dark, so everyone got wake up and everybody got active. The two men were hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dudu, whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas. It cost a dudu. The guru and his disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. So, because these two had been just wandering and they couldn't find anything during the daytime, so when it became dark, everything was active there. The shops were open, and obviously these two men were hungry. So they went to buy some groceries, to buy something to eat. And again they were surprised to find out that everything, whatever they wanted to buy, it cost a single dudu. Dudu is just like we have rupees, a unit, of a monetary. So in that village, in that kingdom, dudu was like rupee. And when we are reading this dudu word, let me tell you, there is a village, there is still a village called Dudu Khallu in Andhra Pradesh. That village is situated in Andhra Pradesh. But here, this dudu means that just like a rupee in that village, in that kingdom, that time. So whatever they wanted to buy, doesn't matter whether it was a rice, because when you are buying rice, obviously you have to weigh it, and when you are buying bananas, so they could be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So whether they bought bananas, 5 bananas or 12 bananas, that also cost 1 dudu. And if they bought rice, that could be half kg, 1 kg. So that rice also cost the same price, 1 Dudu. So they were quite surprised with this. The Guru and his disciple were delighted. So obviously they become quite happy. They were very happy to find out that everything is costing just a single Dudu. And they never heard like this before. So they could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. When they had cooked and eaten, the Guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay there. So after buying groceries and things, and after they eaten their food, the Guru, he realized that, oh, it is a kingdom of fools. It's not a good idea to stay here. So he said to his disciple, there is no place for us, let's go, he said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good, cheap food. The Guru said, they are all fools. This won't last very long and you can't tell what they will do to you next. So Guru had understood already that obviously this was kingdom of fools and anything could happen in future. So he asked his disciple, his Shishya, to go from there. But the disciple, the Shishya, he didn't want to leave that place. He didn't want to hear him. So he explained, the Guru explained everything. He tried to convince him. But disciple wanted to stay there because everything was good and cheap. So all he wanted, good and cheap food. Even the Guru explained that obviously it's not a good idea to stay here for long, and these things, what was happening here, it won't last for very long. Last, last very long. That means that will not exist for longer period, and you never know what will happen to you next. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, do what you want, I'm going, and left. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side sacked bull. So even the Guru explained in all ways, giving examples and things, the disciple wouldn't listen to him and he wanted to stay. So finally Guru said to him that, okay, now I'll leave that to you. You do whatever you want to do, but I am going. And then the Guru left from there. So the disciple, the Shishya, he stayed there and he ate his fill. Fill, Fill, fill means like as per his like. So he ate food, whatever he wanted to add, whatever he desired, he ate there. He ate bananas, ghee, rice and wheat. And obviously because he was eating too much, it was so cheap to buy, it was costing single Dudu to buy everything. So he bought so many things every day, he ate so many things every day. So now he grew fat, just like a street side sacked bull, sacked holy. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. And as he was carrying out his loot, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good, strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice." So the time was passing like that. The Shishya disciple was eating and getting fat. So he grew quite fat. What happened one day? A thief broke into a rich merchant's house. Broke into broke into should be read together as a phrasal verb, and like is breaking into, yani ki entering into somebody's house or premises illegally. So he broke into a rich merchant house. Merchant, a businessman, shopkeeper or grocer. So he broke into that merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. Sneak means going stealthy way, going in stealthy way, quietly, stealthy, nobody sees. So that's called sneaking. So he made hole in the wall and sneaked in. And when he was carrying out his loot, so whatever he looted from there, whatever he taken from that house, so he was going out. And the same time, what happened? The old wall of that house is collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. So he died there. His brother just ran to the king, complaining that his brother got killed, and it happened. And here is good to mention about this. He said that my brother was pursuing his ancient trade. Ancient, the old trade. Trade means business. So he didn't say that he was stealing something, he was looting something. So he said that ancient trade. Okay, and it's also quite funny that his brother was a thief and he was killed while he was trying to steal something. While he was looting something, and he had gone to the king to complain about his death. So his brother, a thief's brother, complained to the king that his brother was killed because of the old house wall. And it happened because, and he also said that he said to the king that merchant should have built a good, strong wall. So according to him, if it was a good and strong wall, then his brother would not have died. And now he requested that the king must punish the wrongdoer. Wrongdoer means offender, means whoever was guilty, whoever has committed that crime, offender, and compensate the family for this injustice. So basically he wanted justice for this. The king said, "Justice will be done, don't worry," and at once summoned the owner of the house. Summoned is an official word when a court orders to be present. So that means ordered to be present. So the king summoned the owner of the house. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, "What's your name?" So obviously this merchant whose house wall was collapsed, so he was brought there, and the king asked him what was his name. So he told his name such and such, such and such, your highness. Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house? Burgled is like uh, is entering into somebody's house or premises illegally. So breaking out or breaking in is also the similar word. So the king asked him if he was at home when the dead man, means that the person who had complained the king, his brother was obviously dead, the thief. So he asked the merchant if he was at home when the dead man, when the thief burgled his house. So he admitted, yes, my lord, he broke in and the wall was weak, it fell on him. So he admitted, obviously the merchant admitted that the wall was weak, and because he broke in there, so it fell on him. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you. Pleads, like here, there are two meanings of pleads. One is requesting, but here it means confirmation. So the accused means the person who has committed the crime, thing. So he's saying that accused pleads guilty. So you are found guilty. That means you are found guilty. Your wall has killed this man's brother, and we have to punish you. You must be punished. Lord, said the helpless merchant, I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He didn't build it right. You should punish him. So now the merchant told the king that, my lord, I didn't put up the wall. I didn't build the wall. And whoever built this wall, he should be guilty. Because obviously when you are a house owner, you don't build your house yourself. You get somebody, you get workers, what do you call that, special people to build your house. So the merchant told the king that it was not his fault. It was the fault of that person who built that wall. So now the king asked, who is that? My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man now. He lives nearby. So the merchant told the king that, my lord, this wall was built in my father's time, when my father was alive. And the person who built it up, he's now old man and he lives nearby. So see, this is going quite funny, because it's baseless. First thing, the person who got killed, he was a thief. Second thing, the king is just listening and deciding whatever he thinks is right. But it's all gonna be baseless if you look at the past paragraphs, and if we read further. So let's read further to find out more. The king sent out messengers to bring in the bricklayer who had built the wall. They brought him tied hand and foot. So now, on urging of that merchant, the king sent out the messengers. So he sent out some people to bring that bricklayer. Bricklayer, brick is like the thing which is used to build walls or house, and the person is called bricklayer. So the king ordered his men. So the king ordered to bring the bricklayer, whoever had built the wall. and the messenger who went to bring him, they brought him tied hand and foot. You there, did you build this man's wall in his father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. So when he arrived, so the king asked this question to him, if he had built this wall in his father's time. And obviously he had to admit. So he said, yes, I did. What kind of a wall is this that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. You have murdered him. We have to punish you by death. So when he admitted that he built that wall, the king said, what kind of wall you had built? Now see, look what happened. It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. So you are guilty for murdering a man, and you will be punished now by death. So you will be given a death penalty. Before the king could order the execution, the poor bricklayer pleaded. So now here the other word, pleads, I told you earlier that plead was different. Now this plead is different. So this plead means requesting. So before the king could order the execution, capital punishment. So when somebody has to be either hanged till death or whatever punishment the person would be given to death. So that's called execution. The poor bricklayer pleaded, please listen to me before you give your orders. It's true, I built this wall and it was no good, but that was because my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down that street all day with her anklets jingling, and I couldn't keep my eyes or my mind on the wall I was building. You must get that dancing girl, I know where she lives. So now the bricklayer, the person, he started pleading, requesting to the king that, my lord, listen to me before you order for this execution. You must listen to me. It was not my fault. It was somebody else's fault. I remember it very well when I was building this wall. So I could not keep my mind concentrate. It was only because there was a dancing girl, girl who dances, who performed dancing. So she was just going in that street up and down, means she was just frequently going from one end to another end. So she distracted. So what he was complaining, that it was not his fault, it was the fault of the dancing girl, because she was wearing anklets. Anklets in Hindi is called pile, and those piles, those anklets were jingling. They was creating sounds of, you must have heard this jingling sound, that chun 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 chun. So that's, and it's a jingle bell, that's also sound of bells, so it's similar. So what he's complaining about, that because that dancing girl was wearing anklets and she was just walking in that street, so his mind got diverted or distracted. So that's why he couldn't build a strong wall. And now he's saying that he knew where she lived. You are right. The case deepens means is going deeper. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer wherever she is. So now the king changed his mind. He's got a bit excited that, see, the case is now going deeper. We must look into it. We must look into the case, the gravity of this case. It's not very easy to judge such complicated cases. So he said that let's get that dancer. Let's get that dancer means let's bring that dancer here, wherever she lives. The dancing girl now, an old woman, came trembling to the court. So obviously that was quite old time, when the wall was built, and that woman, the girl, she was girl at that time, and now she has become obviously an old woman. So she brought to the court, she came trembling, she was just shaking. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? So now the question was asked to that dancing girl, if she was the one who was walking in the street when this poor man, the bricklayer, was building the wall. So now see, in all incidents, what the king is doing, he's listening to everybody, he's changing his mind all the time, and that's quite funny because obviously he's not using his brain. That's why he's called fool, he's called idiot. Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. So you did walk up and down with your anklet jingling. You were young and you distracted him. So he built a bad wall. So obviously the poor lady had to admit that yes, she was the one, and she remembered it. So now the king said, okay, so that means it's confirmed that you were the one who were just walking here and there, up and down with anklets jingling, and you distracted this man. Distracted means obviously he could not concentrate to build that wall, and that was the reason this man could not build a strong wall. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You will have to be punished. So now same thing was told to that poor lady, the dancing girl who was dancing girl before. Now she's become old lady. So now the king said that this wall, because of you, has fallen on a poor burglar. Burglar, see the previously it was burgled. So that was verb, past form of burgle, and now the person who does that is called burglar. So the burglar means a person who enters in a premises, a shop, a building illegally without permission. So now the king saying that it's you, it's because of you a burglar, a poor burglar has been killed. So now you must be punished for it. She thought for a minute and said, my lord, wait, I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. A scoundrel, dishonest person or cheat. So now he's telling, the woman is telling her own story that, my lord, wait. Now I know why I was walking that day up and down, because I had given some gold to the goldsmith. Goldsmith, a person who makes jewelry from gold, silver, other metals. So he was a lazy scoundrel. So now she is blaming to that person, goldsmith, that because he was lazy scoundrel, he made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on. All day he made me walk and down to his house a dozen times. So this woman, the old woman who was a young girl, dancing girl that time, so now she is saying to the king that because of the goldsmith, because he made her to come and go dozen times from her house to his shop, because every time whenever she went there, the goldsmith said, "Oh, come again after an hour, or come again after half an hour, or come," like that. So she was just keep going there and coming. That was when this bricklayer saw me. "It's not my fault, my lord, it's the damned goldsmith fault." Damned is just an expression, is just used to for emphasize something. So now the lady said to the king that this was bricklayer. When the bricklayer saw that woman, so because the goldsmith made her, come and go several times, and that the time bricklayer saw her, and so it wasn't her fault, and it was damn goldsmith fault. "Poor thing, she is absolutely right," thought the king, weighing the evidence. "We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once." So now, see, again the king changed his mind after listening to that woman. So now he's saying, "Oh, poor thing, she is absolutely right. That woman is absolutely right." Now weighing the evidence means whatever the findings he has got. So comparing those evidence, he's saying that now he has found the real culprit, means real the guilty person at last. So he ordered to get the goldsmith wherever he was hiding as soon as possible. The king's bailiffs searched for the goldsmith, who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. And because he was hiding in a corner of his shop, he must have heard this, that he has been accused, he has been blamed for this thing, for this sin. So he was trying to hide himself in a corner of his shop. So bailiffs, well, this word is used in England especially, but here it means official in a court who keeps order, means whatever the king ruler orders, so these people they follow the instruction, they keep that order. So now the king bailiffs, they went to find out where the goldsmith was, and the goldsmith was hiding in a corner of his shop, because he had already heard this accusation. And now he prepared his own story to tell. And what was the story? Let's see. "My lord," he said, "I'm a poor goldsmith. It's true I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had a wedding coming, and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are." So now he told another story to the king, that it wasn't his fault, it was a merchant's fault who had a wedding coming, and he's referring that how the rich people get impatient for their work, for anything. So that was the reason he had made that woman come and go several times. So I think that's more than enough for today. It's already 45 minutes. So what we'll do, we'll read and understand the rest of the paragraphs in next video. So thank you very much for your time and watching this video. Enjoy your day ahead. Bye bye for now.